Hi everyone. I wanted to take a moment to talk about how we can perform in the middle of a crisis. We all as human beings go through different crises, both personal and professional, all the time. And yet life does not afford us the luxury of only being required to deliver critical work items when we are void of a crisis. So we need to come up with some mechanism to perform well when we are going through these periods. I want to share with you a simple four-step process which will hopefully help you to perform well when you're in the middle of a crisis. Step number one is we need to identify our emotions. Now, I've already talked about this in a different vlog called How to Process Your Emotions in a Crisis. You can find it on my YouTube channel, and that will explain how to do this. But the first thing we want to do is we want to identify the entire gamut of what we are feeling. Step number two is that we want to zoom in. We've all seen those horses who have the blinders on so that they can focus on the task at hand. That's what we want to do with our emotions. I want to call out, however, that this is not denial. Denial is when we refuse to acknowledge the presence of our emotions or the severity of our emotions. We are not denying that we feel what we feel, but rather we are consciously compartmentalizing those emotions and putting them aside so that we can zoom in and focus on the task at hand and deliver the task at hand. With our focus keenly on the task in front of us, it is now time to execute the work. It is time to perform to the best of our ability. We have set aside the turmoil that we feel from those personal crises emotions, and we are focusing our attention on getting the job done and frankly performing that job just like we would even if we weren't going through a crisis. Once we have performed the work, it is now time to zoom back out. And when we zoom out, we become freshly aware of all of those emotions that we have been feeling from the crisis. It is now time to be aware of those emotions and process those emotions in due course. So there you have it. The four steps of performing well in the middle of a crisis are: number one, identify your emotions. Number two, zoom in and focus on the task at hand. Number three, execute the job. And number four, zoom back out so that you can process your emotions in due course.